Welcome. Over the Top Podcast. It's your boy HD here with the Over the Top Podcast crew. Hey guys, again, we thank you guys again. We do try to do it every other show for supporting us on WDJY 99.1. Hey guys, check out the Over the Top YouTube page. We got the older shows already on there, so you can go back and review the shows and our content. Also, we have a Facebook Over the Top Facebook private group. They have different types of informations and skits and clips. I think it's interesting. It's up to you, but go come join it. And pretty soon we will be doing our merchandise, but we'll throw it out a little bit later in the year. They're trying to get a lot of stuff going on. But first, let's introduce the Over the Top Podcast crew. What's up, Toya?
What up, yo? You don't never do me first.
I know. Want to shake it up first. Ladies first tonight. Ladies, how you do?
I'm good.
Good stuff. Playmaker G, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, I'm chilling. How you doing?
Hey, man, living life. Our playmate, RJ, run. What's going on, brother?
Living La Vida Loca.
Last but definitely not least, Q, what's the deal, man?
Aren't we all just glad this thug is off the streets?
Well, he's not off the streets yet, buddy. He's not off the streets yet. Let's not be premature.
This criminal, this hoodlum.
Let's not be premature.
Innocent.
Hey, man, wow. I'm sitting here bugging. I'm literally crying.
Let's not be premature.
Oh God.
Toya, so we're gonna start the show off always with the Ask Toya. Toya, what's on deck?
So tonight we have another clip to listen to. After I ask the question. So tonight's question is, Dear Toya, what do you think about the new interview process that's on social media for people to use when dating? I would really like to know the OTTP crew's opinion. Signed, Troy. And so here is the clip.
The top 10 questions a woman should ask a man before she
listen and take notes.
I did 10 for the ladies because ladies got a whole lot more to worry about. Now, the top two are the exact same as the guys, so stick with me on this. Number one, who raised you? Was it a single-parent home where your parents or guardians abusers? More specifically, do you know your mother? If so, do you have any hurt, anger, hatred, hard feelings toward that woman? I can tell you right now, man with mommy issues is the worst red flag. Get away from him. Number two, how do you handle your emotions? Do you shut down to the point where people have to drag information out of you, or do you wait till it gets to its absolute worst before you finally say something? Do you have to get to the point of breaking down or exploding before you actually go and get some help? Hell, do you know when to ask for help? A man that knows how to ask for help knows how to utilize community. That's extremely important when you're considering who you should choose as a husband and a father. That's later on down the line.
Speak on it.
Number three, of course, have you been SA'd? Just a fair warning on this one, most men are going to say no, whether it's true or not. But if that answer is yes, has he been to therapy? Has he been to any type of counseling? Now, a good thing to consider is that a man that can admit to it and talk about how he healed, that is a great sign. Now, number four gets a little bit more specific. Can he take criticism in the bedroom? Ask him straight up right then and there. Is he willing to adjust to satisfy you? Can you share with him what you like, what you don't like? Can you share with him things that you'd like to experiment with? Does he understand the value of foreplay? Ladies, you have to advocate for your sexual pleasure before the sexual interaction ever happens. That means you need to have the sexual conversation up front. Number five, ask him what makes him feel respected. What are his boundaries, emotionally, financially, sexually? You have to remember that men express their interest and comfort in women by making themselves available to be utilized. He becomes more functional. With that being said, if he doesn't have clear answers to questions that directly correlate with how he protects his own peace, he's not ready for a relationship. Also, in regards to respect, what does cheating or disrespecting a relationship look like to him? Does he have opinions on what you wear? These particular questions are usually very specific to the individual relationship. You have to decide whether you can agree or disagree on the terms. So whatever you all decide, it is what it is from there. If you can come to an amicable agreement, dope. If not, cut ties. Now in the second half, we're going to go get into the meat and potatoes of it, but we had to get that character assessment out of the way. With that being said, number 6, does he have a job? Within his career path, where is he? Where does he plan to go, and how does he plan on getting there? Also, it's important to ask how well he's been sticking to that plan. If he's an entrepreneur, how well is he doing in his field? Does he have any degrees or certifications? Does he have years of experience? But also with that, is there space for you to be able to thrive within that relationship? Will his career path take away or overshadow yours? Remember, when you commit to a relationship, those are 2 lives coming together, not just one person's idea of what life should look like for both of y'all. Number 7, are you financially stable? Now, let me get this out of the way. Financially stable and living in excess are 2 completely different things, so ladies, please keep that in mind. With that being said, does he know how to save money? Does he know how to build a budget? Does he know how to build credit and protect credit? Does he know how to minimize debt? But just as important, does he blow money on unnecessary things? But on the flip side, is he cheap? It's one thing to be frugal, but if bro is a penny pincher, he might be a problem down the line. All I'll say is he might not be down for that princess treatment y'all keep talking about. Now, number 8 is incredibly important. Do you have a criminal record? Ask that man for all the information you need to run a background check on him. Ladies, it's worth it. And if any man wants to complain, just remember, you agreed to a background check with that job that only pay you like $12 and $13 an hour to either flip burgers or stock shelves. You ain't get him no pushback. Let him know. So you shouldn't mind this woman asking for the same thing before she trusts you to be the provider and protector that you claim to be. Now, number 9, does he know how to keep up a home? Go to his place. Does he clean? Does he know how to cook? Does he have sheets on his bed? Does he know how to separate clothes? Are there multiple plates, cups, and flatware in his kitchen? Can he grocery shop, or is he eating like a damn Ninja Turtle every night? Basically, are you going to have to come in and create the environment in which you're able to deal with? Don't ever get into a relationship with a man that's looking for domestic help, because that's nothing but resentment waiting to happen. And finally, number 10, is he taking care of his health? Is he eating right? Does he know how to make a balanced meal? What does his sleeping habits look like? Does he know how to manage his stress well? Does he drink too much? Does he smoke too much? Does he have any other bad habits that he just doesn't seem like he knows how to manage? Remember that the things that we do in our youth will either benefit us or tax us down the line. But with that being said, is he insured? Look, he needs medical, dental, vision, life, and car insurance off rip. That shows responsibility and awareness, and that also shows that he is a good man. Now for some bonus information. If he says words like high value, traditional, feminine fit, friendly, alpha, he's not that far away from being an incel. Although I trust you to do so, just say no. Also, watch for acts of service. Good fathers and good husbands are great at offering their assistance to anybody that needs it. And usually they do this without being asked. Again, that's one of those key factors that you need to look for when assessing whether someone will be a good father and husband. And one more thing, when was the last time that man went to the clinic? Ask for the paperwork. If he hasn't been in the last 6 months, you also need to ask him if he's willing to go and get tested again. And I'm talking full spectrum, HIV and AIDS included. Like I said, women have far more to worry about than men, and I really want y'all out there protecting yourselves. Hopefully y'all find what you're looking for. Peace.
Cool. Playmaker, what you think, sir?
I understand the need to exchange information. I think those are very good questions. But if I'm sitting across and a lady starts going through this list, it's probably going to be the last time we're going to hang out. I mean, I think that you get this information over time, but if I'm sitting down in front of you in one setting and I feel like I'm being interviewed, it's taking away the enjoyment of me experiencing your company, and I'm probably going to be turned off.
All right, Jay.
Man, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Here in America, we're doing this relationship thing, and we're doing it kind of wrong. My thought process is there's two types of growth: organic and organic. It depends on how you process it and how it works for you. Inorganic would be going to a dating website, cutting out the middleman and trying to figure out things and doing that, which essentially those questions are really kind of getting to the meat of the matter. However, dating, some of us are not doing the best job of dating either. So I would think from just listening to one of my male friends and one of my female friends, getting to a process of elimination quicker than later, to me, probably works. But I don't know to say that I would do that in a single setting. That probably would be a conversation I have over a number of dates, and I would do it in a relaxed setting in terms of like a jazz club, busboys and poets, have a few drinks and let that person kind of let their hair down and really speak their mind. So yeah, I don't know if y'all know about busboys. It's a tight. Barry knows about it. Busboys and poets is tight. It's like kind of like the restaurant in Love Jones where they go and it ain't as dark but it's a real good.
Vibe.
Yeah, it's a real.
That's so cute.
I think people should stop taking advice from people over social media who claim they know things about relationships. Now, I went back and saw the video. He does happen to have a ring on his finger, so I'll give a benefit of the doubt. But the last time a bunch of women got advice from a man was Steve Harvey, and he just got cheated on. Most times you get advice from people on YouTube, those men are cheating on their wives. At some point, y'all are going to stop listening to people on social media and just live your own life. Get advice. If you want advice, get advice from your friends, maybe even your parents, if your parents have your relationships. But don't go to social media. You only see the good things on social media. You do not see the bad thing on social media.
Have we been able to confirm that? Like, is there a story that confirms that happened with Steve Harvey? I've been real hesitant.
Allegedly. Allegedly. So you have to say
That's what I'm saying. I've been real hesitant to say stuff like that, man. I just.
Oh no, it's not.
Just say allegedly. When you say allegedly, that takes care of it.
So let's allegedly that one, and then point to all the people who jumped on the Kiki Palmer train, only for her to meet back up with the baby daddy that she crucified for a month and a half for her going out and acting crazy at an Usher concert. And she was giving out saying, "Hey, leave my life. I don't need a baby daddy," and went back to him after she went and was all up on Usher and in the music video. Stop listening to social. Don't go to social media for advice. Except Reddit. Reddit people give good advice.
So I love Kraft box macaroni and cheese. As a quick meal, you get your box, you put your water, you put your noodles in, you boil the water, you put your packet of cheese in there, and I enjoyed it as a quick meal. But on a Sunday afternoon, I want my mama's macaroni pie. I want to take some time and grate the cheese, and take some time and put it together and let it cook. Hold on. Where I'm going with this, Q, is we so much of an instant society gratitude. So a lot of people go buy that box macaroni and cheese, and it's fine, but it ain't like mama old fashioned macaroni pie. You put your time in it, put your love in it. That's what relationships should be like. It is certain things that you must know about a person. Doing the interview style, I don't recommend. Take it to. I know people say I ain't got time to be waiting on nobody. Love, love is time. Love is patient. Love is falling in love with somebody is delicate. You just can't rush that process. And I don't care if she check all those boxes right now. I guarantee you, in 10 or 15 years from now, when they change or when they develop, that list will be going out the window anyway. Plus, is one question that wasn't on that list that need to be on that list. Who do you put your faith in? Are you a God-fearing man? Are you a God-fearing woman? Do you trust who do you put your faith in? Who you put your faith in? Now I understand with the women out there, the time the clock is ticking, and you trying to get stuff done. But sometimes certain things, it's just like so it's differently drinking a shot of liquor. You shoot that. But wine, you sip on that wine, or you sip on certain things. You gotta sip on and let it brew and let it go. So no, I do understand the question there. I don't think it should be up front, all quick. Let me get all. I'm gonna know everything right now. No, that's a turn off. But gradually, as we grow and hang out together, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But that's my take. That's my take. Toya, you got the last one, sweetie.
That's your take because you've been with your wife for about 30 years.
Because I know how to take my time with something. You take your time. Take your time.
So here's somebody said this. We're looking for a 1990s love in 2023, and it ain't the same. See, you ain't out here in this dating world. It's ghetto. I tell y'all all the time, it is ghetto. And so the question, like G said, I'm not going to sit and interview you. That's not going to happen on a first date. No. And if somebody did it to me, because in the video, he says that the male's questions are exactly the same as the female's questions. I'm not going to do that. It is over time, but I do think certain questions are relevant. And for me, the main question is, which you said, two questions, which you said, Hank, about who do you go to in your time of need? Who are your spiritual, who do you use for spiritual release or whatever? Are you God or are you Allah? Who do you believe in a higher power? That's a great question. And the second question, like I said before, is what is your relationship with your mother? Because I have seen time and time again that women and men who don't have good relationships with their parents or who haven't seen good relationships growing up tend to not be good in relationships. They have nothing to emulate because they haven't seen it. And so if there's a man who doesn't have a good relationship with his mother, now that's not every man, because some men be like, well, I'm going to love on this woman because I didn't have a good relationship with my mother. I'm going to treat my kids a different way because I didn't have a good relationship with my parents, or my father wasn't there. I'm going to be a better father than my father was. There are a lot of men out there like that. But I run into the ones who aren't. And so since it's ghetto out here, that is a proper question. I don't want to be with a man who doesn't love his mom, because if he don't love the number one woman in his life, how is he going to love me?
Your mother. I agree with you. I just don't like the laundry list of questions. I get it reminds me of that other Cosby show.
Like G said, I'm not going to sit and interview you. Like I'm not going to have a sheet and be like, well, look, when are you doing this? Right. And then how do you? No, that's something I believe is something that should happen over time.
Man, y'all got me playing this song in my head.
Counterpoint, what if you dating somebody and he don't got a relationship with his mother because the mother treated him like Harry Potter and locked him in a closet?
Well, I mean,
and that's the conversation.
Leave him alone.
That's a red flag.
That's a red flag too. Because what if she's abusive? If a woman, okay, so women who don't have relationships with their father, for the most part, they're out there searching for daddy love. So like my goal in life for my girls is not to have them out here searching for daddy love, and to keep them off the pole. That, that's my number one. They keep them off the pole.
Well, that's all.
Searching for daddy love, because believe it or not, it's a lot of sisters who did not have a father and they look for a father in a man. And that's a problem. That's a problem.
Take some food.
I mean, like I said, I don't mind
to learn.
I don't disagree with the question.
That love don't love nobody.
But I'm not going to sit and interview you. I don't think that's a good idea.
Like, and that's my thing. I don't like that interviewing process. You don't sit there and drill me for 2 hours.
I do believe that it takes time. It takes time to get to know somebody. And once you get to know that person, if you don't see those red flags, then you got to look at yourself too, because you got to be accountable for what you attract. and what attracts to you. What are you bringing in? Like, you always got a fuck boy in your court, but why you got all these fuck boys? What are you doing?
Well, and that's the problem. Sometimes we put when we start
Hey,
we
you know
put
they
the
be
physical
cussing on the
part and
mother
it's too
shows too.
easy.
So let me back
Huh?
up. We can edit that out, but they be doing their
Yeah.
thing.
But
But
I think a lot of times we put the physical part of the relationship way too early, and then it's too late to catch up because
I don't even think
those questions can't answer because you're addicted.
I don't even think it's the physical part, Hank. I'm gonna tell you something. You're generally attracted to energy, right? And so energy kind of pulls you into a different space. Essentially, people are attracted to energy either they can maintain or channel or work with or work through. And so essentially a lot like, you know what's really crazy? Man, I wish I could produce that stat. Most of the women say that they are looking for alpha males, right? And they want 100, they want a man making six figures, but and Samuel said you're in the top 1 to 2%.
Yes.
And one of the brothers said in a real dope way, he said, man, y'all don't even realize that y'all are sleeping with the same man. So identifying like what's effectively a functional understanding of who it is that you want and what you need. Even Charleston White said this, and it was dope, you know, because Charleston to go into a phantom zone, right? Charleston said, look here, man. Okay, yes, sir. Charleston said, essentially, you guys want this man that doesn't exist. And I think that's the real problem. We're having that debate constantly, and we have to work towards understanding like where the relevance is and what we're capable of bringing home and what's suitable.
Okay, so your last word about the wrap it up.
And I also think that this is built for younger people too, not for older people, because you know we've been through a whole bunch. But for younger people just starting out in life to have a standard of what you're looking for and what you need and what the things that you need to know, especially the health stuff, because those are the conversations that African Americans do not have. And when it's time for you to procreate, these are the things you need to know, like what you're putting into your babies, your genes, and what you're giving them, what you're sending down to your kids. So I hope we answered your question. Any more questions? Y'all know where to reach me. Ask Toya, TOIA74@gmail.com. Ask Toya, TOIAEL on TikTok, and Ask Toya on Facebook. Thank you very much.
Great, Ask Toya. We're going to keep it pushing. Tonight, guys, we're going to jump on the Second Amendment. So the Second Amendment, for the definition, is a well-regulated militia, being necessary to secure of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The historical surveys of the Second Amendment often trace its roots, at least in part, through the English Bill of Rights in 1689, which declared that the subjects are which Protestants may have armed for their defense suitable to the conditions and allowed by law. That provision grew out of the friction of the English crown's effort use loyal militias to control and disarm dissidents. Dissidents are people who are opposed official policies, especially that of authoritarian state, for those who didn't know. And enhance the crown's standings, armies, and amongst other things, prior to the glorious revolution of the King James II in favor of William, and the Second Amendment was ratified on December 15th, and is one of the 10 amendments to the Constitution, known as the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights expand upon the Constitution by establishing a clear individual rights, limiting the government power, and further laying the citizens should be able to protect themselves against government and any other threats to the well-being of personal freedom. So the Second Amendment grants citizens the right giving them the ability to defend themselves and their property. So that kind of gives you an overview of the Second Amendment. Q, we're gonna start with you. Do you believe that the Second Amendment and citizens should have the right to bear arms?
Okay, so for context, for the people who are watching this 2 months into the future, What happened recently, 2 days ago, was the shooting of 3 black people by a white man in Florida. That happened a few days ago. With that being said, yes, people do have the right to bear arms. However, only certain people should have the right to bear arms, and other people need psychiatric help for them to think they need to have a gun. Because some people do not need a gun. Is it your right to have one? Yes. Do you deserve one? No. Especially if you cannot pass, especially if you're going to use it for evil reasons, or think you're going to use it in case the government decides to attack you. What are you going to do against a tank?
Got you. And it's not too much ahead, so we don't caught up. But thank you for
We are caught up.
Yeah, we caught up. So
you never know these things.
We on task. We on task.
They don't come out till Christmas.
With the rise in gun violence, do you think this amendment needs to be revisited?
I would say yes, but I think what needs to be looked into is the root cause of the violence. I think the guns, modifying the gun laws will help, but I think the key thing is understanding why people feel the need to kill each other and analyzing that and really digging into that problem and trying to address that. And it's talking about the gun violence. 54% of gun-related deaths were from suicides. So you got to kind of take that into attention. And then 59% of deaths that was caused by guns are handguns and not necessarily the automatic weapons. So I think you need to kind of look into the root cause and not just the people having guns.
Good stuff. RJ, if you want to respond, you can, but I'm going to go with you with this one. Do you believe that this amendment is an effective way to protect yourself or another opportunity to take the law into your own hands?
Essentially, the Second Amendment was established or put together basically to assert that you should have the right to protect yourself against tyranny. However, effectively, what tends to happen with people find loopholes and ways to exploit things. All true honesty, man, if you look at the Second Amendment is no more than a manifestation of a focus by people like the NRA to establish a foothold in this country and develop a way to effectively control and assert control. Meaning, like, they do it economically through their lobbyists and creating a mentality that supports aggression and violence. And that's what we're seeing with the manifestation of it. So the abuse of the law is directly correlated with money. Money is always the great evil or corrupted, so to speak.
Okay, valid point. Toya, what do you believe the Second Amendment deterred or increased gun violence, or has deterred or it has increased gun violence?
Well, we have increased gun violence. That's the thing. The NRA would say that the Second Amendment and gun laws have decreased. They literally say decreased gun violence because the violence that was had was criminal violence, and now people who own guns can protect themselves against the criminals. If that's not oxymoronic, I don't know what is. But like Ron said, it's all about, financial. It's all about the money and how we, do it. Now, the laws are legislated from state to state, the gun laws. But like Quinn said just a couple of days ago, we had a mass shooting. And in my mind, you want to say, okay, mental, but it was literally hate. It was hate. And hate is a learned behavior. And so there's ways around the gun laws, where you have most people, if you're a criminal, you can get the gun illegally, or even if you're doing the background check, you can still get a gun. You can lie and say, no, I don't have any mental health issues, and still get a gun. You can lie and say, those background checks aren't necessarily always good. It's just a state background check. It's not a national one, which it should be sometimes, I think. So I don't think the Second Amendment is not stopping the gun violence. You have the right. It's your right, but we still have a lot of gun violence.
Okay. Good,
Speaking of line, real quick. Speaking of line, the Ron, not on camera right now, but the one from Florida tried to come on and say we do not condone that type of violence in Florida, knowing damn well
you created the violence. You literally created the violence.
Yeah. So
that's a deeper conversation though. I think that's the one thing that we really have to, like, it would be cool to have a larger dialogue about his thought process and the dynamics that exist that create that person. Because essentially we're talking about a person who is a minority, who has set the table for other minorities to be effectively persecuted. And that's an interesting thought process. And it's the ability for him to essentially effectively assimilate and us not. But that's a larger. We have to deal with that.
That's a larger conversation. But check this out, guys. Some historians believe that the Second Amendment was ratified due to the Haitian Revolution. The existence of the Haitian Revolution between 1791 and 1804, when the Haitian slaves actually rose up against their enslavers of France, thereby taking over and getting their freedoms back. The U.S. started to become less diplomatic to Haiti under President Thomas Jefferson because of this. He recognized that the revolution had the potential to cause an upheaval against the slavery in the U.S., not only by slaves, but by white abolitionists as well in the South. Southern slaveholders feared the revolt may spread to the island of Hispaniola, to their own plantations, against the background and with the declared primary goal of maintaining social order in Haiti. The U.S. refused to acknowledge any Haiti's independence day until 1862. Q, I'm coming back with you with this one, man. Do you believe that the U.S. fear was justified during this time?
I'm going to answer your question with a question. How were the slaves going to figure out what they were doing in Haiti? Slaves couldn't read.
Yeah, but they know what to do with a gun. What I do with what now?
That's not true in all cases.
How did slaves know what was going on in Haiti?
No. That one, what they're saying is the president of the United States knew what's going on in Haiti, and they put the Second Amendment in the United States just in case the slaves who were getting beat on turned around and will revolt and start beating up the slave owner. So they gave the slave owner the right to bear arms. So when the slaves would come out and revolt, they could shoot them. So that's what happened in a nutshell. So now I ask you again: do you believe that the U.S. was fear was justified during this time?
My point still stands, because how he thinks slaves are gonna do that, but it also just means another Caucasian man unreasonably scared of a black man.
Okay.
With that being said, most of, if not most of, the Constitution was written for rich Caucasian men anyway. So,
correct.
No, because we know who it was written for. This also goes out to all people in lower class Caucasian males who think I can hide behind Second Amendment. It was not written for you. It was written for your boss. Because your boss said you too.
Okay. Good point, Nesbitt. If you want to chime in, you can. But let me keep it pushing. No, knowing the history, and this goes for you, Playmaker. Knowing the history, has this amendment been beneficiary or detrimental to our society? And if you want to piggyback on what Queen said, you can.
No, I'm not going to touch what Q said. I'm going to let that stay there and marinate for the listeners. I'm not going to touch. But To answer your question, do I think the amendment is beneficiary or detrimental? I think it's been beneficial. I think having the right to protect yourself, regardless of how we got there, is beneficial to society. What we see now, like I know a lot of my single female friends, because of it's ghetto out here in the dating pool, they carry and they use
And we
that
do.
to protect themselves. And if they didn't have that ability to carry a weapon to protect themselves in certain situations, we don't know what may happen if someone who's bigger, stronger is trying to take advantage of them. So I do believe that it is a benefit to society now.
Okay, okay. All right, Jay, I'm coming with you with this one because Quentin mentioned there's a certain fear. Do you think does this fear still exist in a group of people that would take over our country today? Do you think there's a fear?
You don't have to go any further than the Black Panthers of the 60s and the legislation of laws in California to diminish the rights of people to open carry. And that's a clear, concise thing. But here's the thing that's really kind of deep about we didn't do aspects of the Haitian Revolution justice.
Okay.
Identifying the fact that and I heard Dr. Henry Louis Clark speak on this. Identifying the fact that the brothers in Jamaica, the brothers in the islands, and in the Dominican, and some of those islands along that chain are the ones that essentially couldn't be broken. And so when you identify those people, that thought process and the ability to establish freedom, the transition and why Haiti is one of the poorest sovereign nations essentially is directly correlated by the World Monetary Fund and other powers that be punching them for asserting their right to bear arms, so to speak, and to basically beat one of the world's greatest generals that has ever been known, which is Napoleon. So if we identify the power of the collective of Haiti, the power of people to have the right to bear arms, then it effectively creates an avenue for people to be set free. The issue and the core issue here in America is the corruption of that thought process and the inability for people to adhere, I'm going to say that again, to adhere to the rule of law.
Okay.
Think about what I just said. Adhere, meaning you apply and you go along with.
Okay, correct. Valid. Good stuff. Toya, I'm going with you with this. With the lack of gun control and the rise of gun violence, do you believe this is the direct link to this amendment?
No.
Why not?
Because, like Ron said, the rise with the gun control, the lack thereof, is because what Ron said, people not adhering to the law. That's the lack of gun control right there. And also, the Second Amendment is there for you and for all of us. And for us, it's a problem. But like you said, with the Black Panthers, they had to change the laws because of that fear. And not just the Black Panthers, because literally today on DL Hughley, they were talking about it. So you had not DL Hughley, on Wrigley Smiley this morning. The Black Panthers in New York, you had the Red Berets. You had all of these groups. You had the Nation of Islam, NOI, and things like that, who knew the laws and used them to protect us and keep us safe. But then they changed the laws because of the fear of us knowing the laws. So we still have the right to bear, but the laws were changed because of the fear of us having them. We need to get back to that right now. We need Black Panthers again. We need those Red Berets again. And NOI is still there. We need to know the laws. We need to know the laws in each state. And it's crazy because we're doing this. I literally downloaded the map of states and the laws of the states. It's supposed to come to me. I didn't get it yet, but so that you know the laws in each state. North Carolina laws just changed recently. And so you don't need so much information to purchase a handgun like you used to. So they're making it easier for you to get one because of fear and hate.
Correct. And so, and we mentioned though, but it has been several examples in the Black community of the Second Amendment. You and Ron mentioned it with the Black Panther Party and the NFAC to bear arms in a nonviolent So when the NFAC and the Black Panther Party protest, they are targeted. When they protest with guns and they're not in a nonviolent way, but still have the right to carry their weapons, they are targeted, dismantled, and labeled as a hate group, and even get arrested. However, we see other groups, Proud Boys, other cats, carry their rifles and weapons throughout the city on a friendly protest, and nothing happened to these guys. To that group. We can go as far as Minnesota police killing Philando Styles, a Black man with the license to carry a gun during the 2016 traffic stop. Here he is, a Black man who was pulled over by the police, and the officer asked to see his identification. Philando Castro used the NRA guidelines, the guidelines that was regulated by law, to alert the officer that he was a licensed weapons carrier with him. She said the police officer, and although he presented with all the credentials, the police officer still began to shoot and killed him. So this is the round table, and we got a few episodes with the round table. And I'm gonna start with you with this one, Playmaker. We can circle around. Is the Second Amendment designed to protect our Black community?
I don't look at it as designed for or against. I think the Second Amendment is just that. I think the interpretation, the execution, and things of that of the law is what kind of makes it slide to one side or the other. But I think as it stands, the amendment is just for people in general to allow them to protect themselves.
So I'm gonna push back on you a little bit with that because you've seen instances, and I guess you alluded to a little bit, whereas you seen black men, even Philando, he had all this paperwork together. He told the officer where he was at, and he still got shot. I mean, so what do you say? What do you say? I mean, how do you differentiate the protection in that?
Well, then I'll say the case in Chicago when the guy was beating on the guy's mom, and the guy had the gun, and he was able to save his mom from a crucial beating.
Okay. All right, Jay. What's your thoughts, man?
In relationship to
the Second Amendment designed to protect the Black community.
It's designed to protect all communities in all true honesty. But here's the thing. Don't get too deep. There are laws that are supposed to effectively govern our country, but they don't. And so if you really,
you can get deep. We got a few minutes.
If you identify effectively where we are in this country, the application of the laws for people that are of minority descent don't necessarily applicably apply consistently. However, by the letter of the law, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, yet still we were judged as 3/5 of a man. So if you identify those paradoxes and some aspects of the things that we deal with in relationship to health disparities, economics, all those things are a byproduct of a system and a construct that is designed to actually keep us at odds with it. So what we must learn how to do is to work with inside the construct. What we must learn how to do is to maintain and make sure that we take care of ourselves and our families And if it requires the possession of a weapon to do so, then we must adhere to the laws. The one thing about us that makes us a lot different is that the standard of proof in some situations, we have to rise to that level and above. So the thought process, and even when you do, the circumstance that happened with Philando Castile can still happen. So praise be to God, some of us have an awareness and an understanding of how to manifest and deal with police. I believe that we should have classes in our communities that teach us how to make the Second Amendment right, the Second Amendment work for us as a group of people, and how to stay within the guidelines and make sure that we protect ourselves in conjunction with the rules.
Q, what's your thoughts?
The Second Amendment right was created to protect the top 1% of Caucasian men. Quote unquote.
Toya, what's your thought? What's your thoughts with that, Toya?
When we did, okay, so no, I don't believe it was created. It's helping to protect our community because, like Quentin just said, the history of it was created to protect slave owners and their land and their slaves to keep them in check. Now, once we get past slavery and Jim Crow and all that good stuff, when we did have classes, because Black Panthers and those types of organizations did have classes, when we did have classes so that we know our rights and we knew the laws and we knew how to protect ourselves and have classes in shooting and all that good stuff. What did they do? They changed the laws. We have to be in charge of the laws. You know, if it was up to me, we all be segregated. But
I agree.
but it's not. So I agree with what Ron is saying. We do need to get back to that so that we understand the laws now, the way they are set up now, from state to state. It's like how they used to have the Green Book when you traveled. Where were the sundown cities and things like that? Those are the things that we need to have now. And it's sad that in 2023 that we still have to do this to protect ourselves, but we do. It's just our reality. And to know how to deal with police and police brutality, and the fact that we still having to talk not just with our boys but with our girls too.
Yes. So much. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, you say I ain't mean to cut y'all.
These are problems.
Yeah. So I think the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, I think we should have. I did, like you said, how it was developed wasn't dishonest. Well, not dishonest. It was developed the wrong way, I thought. But I think we do have the right to bear arms. But I also think that all we ask for I ask for as far as the Second Amendment is the fair treatment. Treat everybody, have it fair across the board. Don't have one group be able to do what they want to do, and the other group now because of your fear or whatever the case may be, you laying a hammer on them. So I mean, as long as it's fair across the board, I have no problem with the Second Amendment. So, but that's the last word on that, guys. Hey, let's go around the round robin. I think anybody else have anything else to say about the Second Amendment? I think we covered everything. Right? Cool. We still have a little time. But Toya, give me your last word for the night, sweetie.
Vote. Yo, please vote. Please vote. And I'm going to say this real quick. Last week in Florida, they pulled out in a school in an impoverished area. So not just poor Black kids, but poor white kids too. They pulled out 4th and 5th graders, 4th and 5th grade Black kids, took them to the cafeteria and said, the test scores of the school are low because of you. You need to work hard to get your test scores up. If you don't get your test scores up, things like this can happen to you. You can be killed, you can go to jail, you might be shot. And if you do get your test scores up, we'll give you fried chicken.
Yeah, that audacity, that part.
In 2023, they separated 10, 9 and 10-year-olds. And then the white kids were upset because they wanted fried chicken too, because it's an impoverished area. So you have poor white kids and they couldn't understand why they weren't getting fried chicken. Vote. Please vote.
Great point. Playmaker, your last word of the night.
I have to echo what Toya said. I think we often overlook the importance of voting, especially in the local elections. And I think that's where we see a lot of stuff getting pushed down to the state level. I think if you don't take the opportunity to vote at your local elections, you're going to be surprised in the future. So I'll echo what Toya said, and get out and vote and pay attention. A lot of us don't even know when voting's taking place. So pay attention. And when you go in to vote, know who you're voting for. I mean,
that part. That part.
That part. Democratic or Republican, do some research. And if you really, really want to make a move, try to get candidates to kind of see things from your point of view, from your community's perspective, and get them involved.
I'm gonna add on to you guys. I know you guys have on the vote, which is great. Hey, not only vote in your local area, go to your school board meetings. Go to your local meetings. Find out what's going on in your area. But anyway, that's not my turn. RJ, your last thought, sir.
I got two. Okay. I had a dope weekend. Went to DC. Had the opportunity to spend some time with my father, mother. Hung out, enjoyed ourselves. Man, I drove back from DC with a nail in my tire. Praise report, tire didn't blow out. Woke up Monday morning with a flat tire, but we got home safe, so I'm thankful for that. The second one, it's a little more personal. Who did you help today? Who did you take time to invest in or speak to? Who did you help in your village? It was a gentleman today that came up to me. He wanted to wash my front lights, and I really didn't have time for him to do it. However, I seen the look in his face when he was out there trying to do something positive and not steal or not do something bad. And his face got kind of crestfallen, and I was just like, you know what, man? Holy Spirit, what should I do? I gave him $2, and I said, next time, man, that's too often the job that you're going to do for me. But I'm going to give you something because you hustling, you doing something right instead of going out and stealing and doing something wrong. So I'm going to ask you, who have you helped today?
Good point. Q.
Oh, y'all gave me 5 minutes. I got a story to tell. I was on Twitter.
Go ahead.
I was on Twitter, and there's a story that got Twitter up in arms.
Okay.
A man, 34-year-old dude, asked his wife, who's 36, hey, for my birthday, make me a chocolate cake. Nothing special, nothing over the top, chocolate cake. The wife said, I'm gonna put some sauce on it and make cake with vanilla layer in it. The husband, no, the man said he ate half the cake, and by half he only ate the chocolate part, and then eat the vanilla. Wife asked him why. He said, I asked for chocolate cake. I didn't want vanilla in my chocolate cake. She said, hey, but you like when I make you a chocolate cake with vanilla icing. Well, this time I didn't want the vanilla. So she got upset with him. I'm going to say this. My birthday comes around once a year. If I ask for a chocolate cake and you try and get fancy with it, I'm flipping the table. Because it's my one day a year. Where I say, hey, this at 34, got a wife, the wife has children. It's my one day a year. If I want a chocolate cake, give me a chocolate cake. Don't get fancy. Don't try and get cute. Give me a chocolate cake with chocolate icing and call it a day. And then don't get mad when I get upset and don't eat the vanilla part when I wanted just a chocolate cake.
Follow directions.
That gonna be one of the questionnaires when you interview your significant other, right? Look at
Can you follow directions?
can you follow simple directions?
That was the thing. It was
Can you
the
follow?
conversation was split into two people. Can you follow directions as a 36-year-old wife, or why is a 34-year-old man pouted about getting vanilla and a chocolate cake? It's my one day a year.
That right.
We're in our 30s.
Right.
I don't know what we're in our 30s. It's either this or what else going on. For my birthday, some people don't even get anything for their birthday. All I asked for was a chocolate. I ain't asked for presents. I ain't say, hey, let's do something. I asked for chocolate cake, and you try to get cute. Now your feelings hurt, and now your feelings hurt because my feelings hurt that I didn't get what I asked for.
Facts. Know the assignment, guys. Know the assignment. Know the assignment. Facts. So, so my last point is this, guys. I have a lot of friends that them raise children, and my age we don't raise kids. But can we stop normalizing putting our 18-year-olds out the house and thinking they grown? Can we please? Can we please? When you 18, you on your own. You go get your apartment. You go live your life. You don't know how to pay a bill. How in the world you gonna survive on these streets by yourself at 18, 19 years old? Can we normalize teaching our children what better prepare them for daily life skills? Instead is when okay, you grown, you can go to the army, you can live on yourself. I gotta get you out the house. Wait a minute, no. Prepare your children when they leave, so when they go out and leave the house, they won't be coming back every other year. They're prepared and they know what they're doing. But that's my pet peeve. Can we please normalize? Stop kicking our children out of the house. And also, go ahead.
If I take a step further, normalized parenting doesn't stop once they reach 18.
It doesn't.
At 25 it do though, buddy. Nah, parenting never stops, guys.
It never stops.
Parenting just because that person is 18 does not mean that person is not your child anymore. That is still your child. They ain't happen to be able to join the army. I was gonna say buy cigarettes, you can't do that anymore, but they can still join the army.
Yeah, you can't buy cigarettes at 18 no more. You gotta be 21. But I do agree. Let's not leave our children out there and then throw them out to the wolves. Hey guys, what a great show. It's a little light tonight, but that's okay. What a great show. Thanks for the panel. Thanks you guys for joining us. And like always, guys, may your next move be the game changer. Peace.